I'm going to make this clear, and I encourage all of you to do the same. I will not be visiting the state of Florida anytime soon. Why? Because Ron DeSantis and his Republican lackeys are actively trying to end, or at the very least whitewash, American history, and have made it into an arrestable offense for those who do teach Black history. Now, I got this information early this morning. Studies Weekly, a publisher that provides educational periodicals for Florida K through 6th grades, provides one of their lesson plans for the 2022-23 school year to take out race as the reason why Rosa Parks was told to change her bus seat and why she was subsequently arrested. Let me repeat what I just said. These people are trying to take out race as the reason why Rosa Parks was told to change her bus seat and why she was subsequently arrested. So what exactly is your reasoning for that? I mean, what would be the reason that the way you're trying to tell it, the reason for Rosa Parks being arrested and told to move from her seat? Well, because someone else wanted to sit there? Because there was a fire on the bus? Seriously, what would your reasoning be? Anyway, the initial text report, which was reported, said Parks was told to move to a different seat because of the color of her skin, was edited because, quoting them, individuals of our curriculum team severely overreacted in their interpretation of HB 7 and made unapproved revisions. This is Studios Weekly talking, of course. Now, you may be asking what HB 7 is. Oh, that's right. HB 7 is the brainchild of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. It restricts what can and can't be taught to students about certain topics, including race. You might as well say, no, matter of fact, let me read that and insert two words that Republicans, that the MAGA, especially Ron DeSantis, hates to a passion. Florida State's House Bill 7 restricts what can and can't be taught to students about certain topics, including Black history. That went into effect last July and requires schools to submit instructional material to the state's Department of Education for textbook review. Wow. And what exactly happens if they don't meet with textbook review? Do you burn the textbooks like the Nazis did? I seriously think you do. Now, of course, the publisher company and them had actually changed things and removed it all, but still, it doesn't matter. This shit should not be happening. You see, DeSantis, you opened up a door that you may not be able to close. You've shown yourself to be a freaking racist. And your deep, dark hatred of anything that's not like you, DeSantis, you've already shown that. Now, here's the thing about this. You see, DeSantis, whether you like it or not, Rosa Parks did happen. Rosa Parks was a Black woman, and the reason why she was told to move and was arrested is because she was Black. Period. Now, you may want to try to whitewash this and say it wasn't about race. Yes, it was. So we shouldn't. So let me ask you this. And this goes to all the other MAGA governors out there, especially you, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, whose state is drowning in negative education numbers. Let me ask you all this. You don't want us to learn about Martin Luther King, the man who gave his life for civil rights, for equal rights, and voting rights in this country for black people. But you damn sure want us all to learn about Donald Trump, a man who nearly ripped this country apart and is ripping this country apart every single time he speaks. You want us to learn about Frederick Douglass, but you all want us to learn about Robert E. Lee. You want us to learn about the Civil War and the part African Americans played in fighting it. But you damn sure want us to learn about the Confederacy, about what the flag, the Confederate battle flag is supposed to mean, quoting you guys, supposed to be about. See, Republicans, at least a lot of Republicans out there, like Ron DeSantis, like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, like Donald Trump, the excuse I keep hearing from all of these MAGA freaks is we need to stop teaching black history because it's divisive to the country. That is their words. It's divisive to the country. You got Sarah Huckabee Sanders saying that it's teaching people to hate America when we're teaching about Rosa Parks, when they're teaching about Frederick Douglass, when they're teaching about W.E.B. Du Bois, when we talk about Martin Luther King, when we talk about Barack Obama, when we talk about the Tulsa Massacre, when we talk about Rosewood, when we talk about instances in this country of racism and malice towards African Americans. They say it's dividing the country. It's divisive. It's teaching people to hate our country. No, it's not. It's teaching them the history of this country. Not just the Star Spangled Banner, red, white, and blue bullshit. Not just the fantasy that America is this great, amazing country. It can be a great, amazing country. But thanks to people like I mentioned in this video, Huckabee, DeSantis, Trump, and a whole host of others in this country, it can never be a great country. Because every single time they try to make some bill to make it illegal for us to learn about black history, about Martin Luther King, about Frederick Douglass, about W.E.B. Du Bois, about Barack Obama, about black history in general, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It tears this country apart. Just as it tore Germany apart during the rise of Hitler. So no, DeSantis, if I were living in Florida right now, my class would be the only safe haven where we're going to talk about black history in this country. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to talk about the history of the country. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Not just the rosy palm bullshit that you want everyone to believe. America can be a great nation. Because we need to, but for to do that, we need to learn from the past. A great philosopher once said, those who do not learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. But people like DeSantis, they don't want to learn from the past. They just want to cover it up. They just want to whitewash it. And if it sounds like I'm saying whitewash as a racist thing, I don't give a shit. I'm using the word whitewash because that's all they want. A few months ago, I made a video on YouTube talking about the inventions of African Americans in this country. The way that Martin Luther King Jr. himself said, by the time we leave for work, Americans have depended on the inventions from the minds of blacks. That is the history that Ron DeSantis wants to delete, wants to just take away, to hide, because he thinks it's dividing the country. Because these right-wing nutjobs thinks it's all dividing America. It is not dividing it. It's telling the unabashed red, white, and blue truth. The truth that we can be a great nation if we don't fall back. The truth that we can be a great nation if we don't try to hide the nastiness from it. That we can be a great nation if we work together. But Ron DeSantis and so many others in this country that think like him don't want to work together. They want absolute control. It's not going to happen, DeSantis. Now, you can scream, huff, and holler about how black history is dividing the country all you want. But in the very end, you owe your existence, honestly, to African Americans in this country, boy. You do. Let's not play any games here. So let me give you some real facts about this country before I close this video out. African Americans in this nation have been fighting for, defending, and built this country from the very beginning. From the first day we got off the boat. That's a proud heritage, including the scars, the broken bones, and the blood. All of it. That uniform that you used to wear as a United States naval officer, as a judge advocate general in the U.S. Navy, that uniform represents the blood, the sweat and tears that this nation, that slaves who built this country represent. It's unfortunate that you're trying to cover that history up because you think it's dividing the country. It's not dividing the country, it's telling the truth. Truth. Now, I'm sorry that it's inconvenience to you. No, I'm not sorry it's an inconveniencing you, or it's making you sad, or it's making you angry. What is learning about Rosa Parks and why she's a civil rights icon? What is so wrong about learning about Emmett Till and why he was murdered? Why is learning about Martin Luther King and why he marched, and why all of them marched, including, heaven rest his soul, John Lewis, former congressman who marched with Martin Luther King at Selma? What is learning about the first Afro-American president? Oh, I'm going to hit you hard with this, motherfucker. What is learning about the first Afro-American president, Barack Obama? Why is that harming the country and divisive? Obviously, it's divisive because you're a Republican and fascist scumbag. In future generations, what is divisive about learning about the first female vice president, Kamala Harris? Is it because? And let me ask you this one final question. And let me answer that one final question. Why are you so hateful, so hurt, when some kid, 5, 6, 7, 10, 8, 9 years old, comes home from school and says, "Can you tell me about Martin Luther King? Can you tell me what happened at the Tulsa massacre?" If that is what angers you, that some kid wants to learn about that, then you need to take a deep look inside of yourself and ask that question: why do I hate these things? Why do I hate having people who teach these things? You see, DeSantis, you need to look inside yourself. Stop trying to find the next boogeyman of black history to frighten your voters, to frighten your frightened people in this country, because you can't do a thing to save your own damn state. You've declared war on everything and everyone in your state and probably everyone in this country. And now you're paying the price for it. You've been exposed as the racist, bigoted, evil, destructive bastard that you have always probably been. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.